more involved than we want to go through. So if I'm not lagging sound wise, then we'll just make it.
That's Hooey Valley, Hooey Hollywood, where any office boy or young mechanic can be a panic with just a good-looking fan. And any barmaid can be a star maid if she dances with or without a plan. Hooray for Hollywood, where you're terrific if you're even good. Where anyone at all from Shirley Temple to Amy Semple is equally understood. Go out and try your luck, you may be Donald Duck. Hooray for Hollywood.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, you are listening to a Radulich Broadcasting premiere podcast. Damn you, Hollywood! And here's your host, Robert Winfree. Yay! And here's your host, Robert Winfree. Yay!
Yay!
And here's your host, Amber Teasley. Hey, yay!
Yay!
It's a good night to have technical difficulties. Tommy, can you hear me? All right, folks. Well, until Robert figures out what is wrong with his camera, his microphone, and his Glaven, we're going to keep going here. Joining me to discuss Jurassic World Dominion are the Teasleys.
I'm going to apologize off the bat for
oh my God,
not being.
Go ahead. One more time, joining me to discuss Jurassic. There he goes. Jurassic World Dominion are the Teasleys, Velocipaster, my good friend Velocipaster, and Amber. How you doing, Amber?
I'm great. How are you?
So far we're doing really well here.
Is it hotter and crap there? Because it's hotter in the gates of hell here. So
yeah, it was pretty hot and steamy these past couple of days. Nobody was comfortable here in Florida. Absolutely nobody. Speaking of uncomfortable, Jason, I understand dragged you here against your will. So are you an actual like Jurassic Park fan, or like what's your deal here?
Hold on, time out.
Yes, Velocipaster.
First off, what a tay.
What? What a tay.
What a tay. I did not drag her
he doesn't
anywhere.
force me to do anything, and there's no way in heck he could ever force me to do anything because I am very independent.
Yes,
so I
ma'am.
do what I want to do. So he could never force me to do anything. I'm not afraid of him.
Okay.
He's afraid. He's afraid of me.
Fair enough. So, all right. So let's talk turkey here. Are you like a big Jurassic Park fan, or are you more of a fan of the Jurassic World, more recent trilogies? Like, what made you decide to come on the podcast tonight and have to experience Robert and I's negativity yet again?
I have watched
Hang on,
it
before
from the original.
Am I coming through?
I can hear your audio. Sure.
Can anybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I'll have to
Can you
step
hear
up
us?
from before.
Okay.
I could hear you the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you're just having difficulty.
Okay.
All right. Well, you figure stuff out. Go ahead,
Computer's
Amber.
a
You were
bit
saying?
wonky at the moment, so we're gonna muddle through this.
I've watched
I can
Jurassic Park since the get-go. So I've watched
Mhm.
all of them. I've seen every one of them a million times. I've probably watched the original a gazillion times.
Of the now six movies proper, which one's your favorite?
I'm gonna have to go cliche and go with the original because it's that first
Okay.
experience with the dinosaurs and the
Sure.
first look for everybody, all the Alan Grant and the first experience.
Yeah, well,
I would have to go
without
with
the
the
first one,
original.
we wouldn't have any of it, and it was.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, for most people, I think that first experience with Jurassic Park and the CGI dinosaurs and how realistic they looked and all of that. It was magical. What about you, Jason? You know, you sent me your laundry list of film requests for the year, like way back in January of '09, and and you're like, I got to be on the Jurassic World. You didn't have a whole lot to say about Top Gun. You're like, I loved it, and I'm like, all right, anything else, Jason? No. Yeah, a little bit more to say tonight about the Jurassic Park series.
Well, I was Iceman's voice box in Top Gun, so tonight I'll have a lot more to say. Yeah, I mean, I was late to the party on Jurassic Park and the films. I'm more of the Jurassic World, because I've only seen the first two original. I've never seen Jurassic Park 3, so I'm
not missing anything.
I'm more toward the Jurassic World, and you know, it's something that me and Amber got to experience together. So it's one of those things that, you know, it's a shared thing that we do. We went and seen all of them in theaters together. I believe that they've all came out since we've been together. So, and I've watched her cry as a brontosaurus dies and everything, in part 2 on the volcanic island. So it's one of those things that I like. I'm a boy. I grew up, when I was younger, I always wanted to be a paleontologist for some reason. Don't know why. Yeah. Don't know why.
Ditto.
All the way up to like I was 6th, 7th grade. I was really looking into wanting to grow up to be a paleontologist.
Very cool.
I can't explain that for any reason beyond that. I'm a boy and dinosaurs are cool.
Yeah, well, that is certainly what has lended the series to the billions and billions of dollars that this thing has made, is boys like dinosaurs. So this past week, leading into Jurassic World Dominion, all of our Jurassic Park stuff got re-released. The trilogy Long Road to Ruin that Sean and I did, where we coined the phrase "more dinosaurs," famously, that got re-released. Fallen Kingdom was already up. Our original Jurassic World, that was a fun one to go back and listen to, our Jurassic World review, because that's one of the ones where Robert and I almost got into a fist fight. And it was very, and when Robert and I nearly got into a fist fight, those are our best shows. And what I remember about just listening back to the original Jurassic World one was how much, like, the thing that's missing for me with Jurassic Park, and I said this at the time, was the park wasn't full. So, you know, they're just there to kind of test the park out, see if this is going to be an okay thing. They, you know, Hammond wanted approval. And so, yeah, there's a body count in there, but it wasn't particularly high. You don't see a lot of, you know, it's your main cast kind of running from the dinosaurs for 2 hours, and that's about it. And which is fine. But what I really wanted to see, something that we got in Godzilla with Matthew Broderick and some of the more recent monster movies, is I really wanted to see just constant monster carnage. And even with Jurassic World, and I complained about this, while it was fun to see the park fall apart, you really only get the one scene with the Robert. What were the flying dinosaurs? They weren't pterodactyls; they were something else, like petrodons or something like that. You remember?
I believe they were pterodactyls.
They were pterodactyls. Okay, I couldn't remember if they were different
or
flying
smaller
dinosaurs.
versions of them.
Yeah. But we talked about that, where it's like that is the one scene in the movie where you truly get to see like dinosaur carnage in a theme park, and it'd be really fun. And subsequently, they've run away from that with the rest of these Jurassic Park movies. I mean, Fallen Kingdom, we criticized that pretty heavily, and basically said it was like a haunted house movie, which is not what I want. Which, well, some people, they're like, oh, that's interesting. That's an interesting take on the Jurassic Park franchise. We did not love it. Shock of all shocks. Robert and I didn't like something. So I was kind of hoping with Dominion and the conceit being dinosaurs have just run amok. They are everywhere now. They are living in society. And I'm going to throw it to Robert for a second to do a plot synopsis, a very brief plot synopsis so we can get done on time tonight. But you really only get that in the first 10 minutes of the movie, and then they run away from it again, which is really frustrating for me. So I was hoping with Dominion we'd see full scale, just dinosaurs running around the world, running amok. Once again, we were teased, and I don't really get to see what I really wanted out of this franchise. So any thoughts, Robert, before we jump in here, as far as the franchise, the series, expectations? If not, you can just go right into the plot synopsis.
I did not care much for Jurassic World. I cared less for Fallen Kingdom, and I care less for this one.
Okay. You want me to do the plot synopsis and just do a quick read through, or can you whack this out real quick?
I got it.
Okay.
So, a handful of years after the events of Fallen Kingdom, dinosaurs are now out and about in the world, wreaking untold havoc, and no one quite knows what to do. Except, of course, for our weak as crap villain who runs Biosyn.
Oh, I can already see where this is going.
Can ya? Who is in the process of doing nefarious evil tech billionaire things. Our disparate characters that come together at the end for a big Avengers moment, and you know that's what they thought when they were writing this.
Oh, totally.
We have Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, and Cloney McClonerson from Fallen Kingdom.
She's a
They're
clone
living-
man. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. She's a clone man. Do-do-do-do-do. Sing it, Jason.
No.
God damn it. I'm good. Keep going.
They're living in Oregon and are trying to help kind of get dinosaurs out of the wild or out of illegal breeding activities and into safe hands. This all goes badly for them when some poachers find Blue, who the researchers want because merchandise, and they find Cloney because Cloney. They're both kidnapped, and they begin a bit of a globe-trotting chase. On our other sort of concurrent plot features the first of our bits of, hey, remember this? They're remember berries. That's all they are. When Dr. Ellie Sattler teams up with Dr. Alan Grant to go visit Dr. Ian Malcolm, who works for Biosyn and has a plot to prove that Biosyn is behind a global plague of Cretaceous-era locusts that is devouring all food except for the Biosyn-developed food for reasons that are never adequately explained. So they try to infiltrate the physical building that is in the Biosyn facility to then match it with the live creature that they have captured, and thus proving, hey, Biosyn, they're responsible for a global famine that's about to happen. Our other group of people track down Cloney to the location. Bunch of fights with dinosaurs, bunch of pointless action set pieces. They eventually all come together. They're able to escape the burning forest because, of course, there's a burning forest. There's a dinosaur fight because, of course, there's a dinosaur fight. And in the end, Cloney stops being quite as much of a teenager. Sattler and Dr. Grant finally get together, though no one was really asking for that to the best of my knowledge. And dinosaurs begin establishing a true kind of homeostasis, not at all behaving like invasive species do in the real world. And this trilogy mercifully comes to an end.
Can I just stop you? Why are you so mad at this movie? Like, I have not seen you this disgustipated since Mortal Kombat last year, which frightens me because I yelled I hate you during that one. So I already know not to make any dick jokes tonight. What is wrong with you, my love? What is going on?
It's my computer being wonky. That's really
okay.
Deeply frustrating.
Can you not take out your anger on the rest of us? Jesus Christ.
I don't like the movie either.
Okay, you can not like the movie, but I can feel your dude. I can feel your hatred from Utah, and it's gross. It's yucky.
Good.
I got your hate all over me. Yuck. Or yay. I'm not quite sure how I feel yet.
I mean, I can't even watch you. I can't even watch you guys at the moment. I have to have this open in a different tab because my computer's being a pain. I've been restarting it to try and get drivers updated, and they're just not quite sticking. And I don't know exactly what's going on with it. It's had other issues today. So if this thing craps out on me and I just cut out,
okay,
you'll know why.
Gotcha. All right, take
it's
a
not
breath.
anything personal to any of you.
Okay, we got it. Take a breath. Amber, while Robert continues his aneurysm over his tech problems, what did you think of Jurassic World Dominion?
I hate to say that I loved it, but I did love it.
Okay, this is a safe space, Amber.
The whole time, the entire franchise from Jurassic Park, the beginning to now, has all been about the dinosaurs becoming reintegrated into the world with us.
Right.
And, that's what happened. That was the best way they could end it. You had the Alan Grant and Allie Sadler reunion, which, they were boyfriend and girlfriend in the first one, but by the second one, she had moved on and married.
Yeah.
And, that was always kind of left kind of hanging because he does call her in the second one, but, that was kind of left hanging. So they ended that one real well. The love between the two that were raising the daughter, and it kind of hit home a little bit because my daughter's 14 and the girl, I can't remember her name, in the movie is 14, and I've seen a lot of the way she was trying to kind of figure out her how she wanted to be, who she was, and I kind of seen a lot of that in our daughter as well. So I mean, it's and you had, I feel like the dinosaurs, there could have been it could have been more, but I like that they added in the locust. I felt that was a good add-in. It just wasn't about dinosaurs the entire time. It was more about the people.
All right. Well, we'll come back to you for more of your thoughts, especially once we start tearing the movie apart. Jason, what were your initial impressions? What did you think?
It was okay. It was middle of the road for me. I'm like you. I think that I would have liked to seen the more chaotic dinosaur integrated. Just creating havoc. I think that is where they missed the mark on, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I would have liked to see just pretty much a more open world impact rather than going back over the retread of there's a park with dinosaurs. We've explored that. We've explored that like 4 out of the 6 movies. So I think the only ones that did not touch on that was the Jurassic Park 3 and the second Jurassic World, where they're actually outside the park. And the second Jurassic World, they actually start off in the park. So you still have that touch. I would have liked, like I said, I would like to see the more impact. You had the nod to Deadliest Catch, where the boat gets capsized by just a large, like megalodon type creature. Yeah, bless you. But yeah, I mean, you would have been like, it was called. The name kind of lends it to like this more open world aspect. Now, I like how they integrated things. Jeff Goldblum is an absolute national treasure in these movies because he's Jeff Goldblum. But I just gotta ask: do we absolutely need a T-Rex saving the day in every movie? Because that's what we get. Of some sort of T-Rex victory. I love how he was integrated in the first one. The second one was meh. Third one I've never seen. You have him and Blue team up in the original Jurassic World. I think there's a big T-Rex scene at the end of Fallen Kingdom, and then you get this. I think that's overplayed. I would have liked to seen more of the dino fights, but the T-Rex not being the savior. There can only be one carnivorous alpha, I guess you could say, in the movie. So it was middle of the road. I liked it. I mean, it was one of those movies that, you know, you just kind of you can enjoy. You can enjoy it with your family. You can appreciate it, but, you know, it's not like up there as one of my favorite movies, but it was a nice summer enjoyable popcorn flick.
It's a slight movie. This is a very slight movie. This is one of those where there isn't really anything to it. It's kind of a more sizzle than steak. It's a lot of spectacle, but it's also, it kind of reminded me of Doctor Strange in that at the end of Fallen Kingdom, you really had the setup for a great premise. The dinosaurs are loose in the world. They're everywhere now. And like the first 10 minutes of the movie are like my favorite part of the movie, where you get to see how invasive the dinosaurs have gotten in society. You know, there's dinosaurs knocking cars off of freeways. There's, you said, the Mosasaurus attacking the ship. There's all these different examples that they show of the dinosaurs. It's the most, for me, it's like almost the most effective part of the movie is that first 10-minute intro. And then, and that's what I wanted. I wanted more of that. Your criticism about, and then we're back in a park again, not before too long, and then it's about getting out of the park as this park falls in on itself. Like, yeah, how many more times do we need to see that? It almost feels like, again, you know, you've got this band that has been playing for a while, like a Def Leppard or a Motley Crue, and it's like, sure, we have a new album out, but what do people really want to hear? And this was a lot of Pour Some Sugar on Me and Woman and all of that. I've used that metaphor before. This felt like, let's just play the hits. Let's not do anything new because people don't want new. It demonstrably proven in terms of, you know, the number one movie in America, Top Gun. Nobody wants new. They want familiar. They want what they know. They want what they like. And sometimes that works. Top Gun. Sometimes, it remains to be seen how well this movie is going to do. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But not to give away the third bit of the show, but the audience score is a lot higher than the critical score. And I think the critics on this one are mostly correct. I think they got it. This isn't a particularly well-written movie. It's just a lot of fan service, but weirdly, not really what the fans wanted, if you know what I mean. Like, we wanted Godzilla. We wanted the dinosaurs wrecking cities. We wanted the dinosaurs eating a bunch of people. And there's plenty of that, don't get me wrong. And again, those, I was sitting, I went with my kids and my friend and his kids, and every time somebody got killed on screen, I laughed out loud. Like, I thought it was a comedy. You know, and you could hear people like kind of, you know, as people are being eaten and everything, and I'm just laughing up a storm because this was the fun that I wanted in a Jurassic World movie, but not quite the level of that I wanted it. It didn't reach the height, it didn't reach the gore that I wanted it to, and that was a little frustrating. I did not mind, and I'm sure Robert's gonna scream and yell at this, and I'm here for it, but I did not mind the subplot that gets Alan Grant and Laura Dern involved, where, you know, it does kind of go back to the original Jurassic Park of, what if we can? Should we? Well, sure, why not? And then they do, and then oh, what have we wrought? You know, BD Wong, sort of weird inner conflict that he has of, well, I want to do these things, but I don't want to do bad things, but I did a bad thing, and now I must repent. It's not good writing. It's very slight. It's very shallow, but at least it was there, which is, I believe, what I said about another one of the movies that we disagreed on over the past year. Probably a lot more than I'm remembering. Like, just one? No, quite a few. Like the Chris Pratt, this is the easiest gig for Chris Pratt has ever gotten outside of maybe some voice work, because all he has to do is this the whole time. Just, you know, like, just look intently at a CGI screen and go, stop, in the name of love. You know, and he gets to be action hero guy. Bryce Dallas Howard almost has no character in this at all. Yes, stop. Bryce Dallas Howard is almost like no character. She's just put upon mother. That's her whole character in this movie. Then there's angsty teenager, Cloney McGee. And you know, Robert's going to complain more about this, I'm sure. But yeah, the villain. Look, I get when you're going for subtle villain, but subtle can go too far in one direction, and then they're not menacing in any way, shape, or form, to the point where, like, is that the villain? Like, I guess because he's doing bad things, but he's not particularly compelling, or, you know, there's nothing about him that really draws you in. It's funny, I was entertained by this movie, but as Robert has criticized me, I could be entertained by jiggling keys. So, like, I liked what I saw, but then I have to, like, think about it and talk about it, and I'm like, no, there's so much wrong with this movie. I was essentially entertained by the stupid.
Oh yeah, there's something that I want to specifically call out when we start ripping this thing apart.
Well, can I say something real quick?
No.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so you're talking about the menacing villain in the movie. Do you remember the villain in the original movie? I mean, how menacing was he?
Oh,
so,
well,
I mean, it was kind of the same.
I was going to say the villain was Newton from Seinfeld, and he gets eaten almost immediately.
But he still was the villain. And then you have this guy who was not much better. So, I mean, really, there's no sinister.
Yeah, we got Steve Jobs.
And also, the first one is in the original park. The second one takes place on Isle Sorona. I think it's Sorona, which is the island that was adjacent. The third one takes place on that one as well. You do not make it back to the original park till the first Jurassic World.
All right, I'm going to take a break here. Yep, nope, you're good. I'm going to take a break here and let Robert, I don't know, just scream. I don't know what you're going to, I'm almost afraid, Robert. I've never quite been so afraid of what you're going to say about a movie before, and I don't know why. I think because of the computer stuff, you're already like in a pissy mood. So have at it, man.
I am. Yeah, I'm also probably a little bit behind from where you guys are in terms of, like, I think my thing is lagging, and I'm equal parts angry and sick with anxiety over it because reasons.
Okay.
So, as for this movie, no, did not enjoy it. There's so much stupid. There's just so much stupid.
Yeah.
Sure. Cold-blooded creatures migrating to the snowy northwest of America. Like, they wouldn't just keel over and die after one sub-zero evening.
I like how you're beginning this rant with the Mr. Wizard stuff. Go ahead, sorry.
There's a lot of that. A raptor chase where they're apparently house cats that you don't even need to keep the laser pointer on. One of those people who's chased by these raptors is the dumbest human being alive. He's backed into a corner and he's got the thing like charging through some debris at him. He can't quite get through, but it keeps sticking its head through and snapping at him. He has a gun. And he knows he has a gun. He thinks to use it to shoot the lock off of the hatch above him rather than shoot the dinosaur in the head. Why? Just why? You idiots. You just write the dumbest characters. The absolute dumbest. Most of the stuff at our secure location is... Okay, Dr. Ian Malcolm is a pale imitation of what he used to be because the writers now are so much worse than the people who wrote the first two of these movies. That speech he gives is meant to be impactful, like this is what they think they're writing, to fix what's wrong. We must alter human consciousness. Shut up! This is not even what Dr. Malcolm deals with on a regular basis. No! Just no! You don't have the writing ability to write a character like this, and it comes across very, very clearly. I mean, his little, like, scolding speech to knock off Steve Jobs before he's fired is the weakest thing in the world. Like, don't you see what they're doing? They're giving you promotion, so you'll be loyal. Like, And his closing line there is just so utterly devoid of impact or punch on anything approximating a philosophical, logical, or emotional level. It should be studied.
It does come across as a bit poochy, doesn't it? Whereas they're sitting at the writing table to try to figure out what the script of this thing is. Everyone's just sort of like pitching an idea, but it's all of what's going on in the world right now. Well, the government's trying to control us. Ooh, we should do that, and and we should do this with this, and we should do that. It doesn't feel like an organic, natural story. It feels like a cobbled together Frankensteinian monster of ideas from people who think they're really, really smart, but are, Hollywood writers.
Not. There's a scene in this movie where one of our moles in the company goes to see knockoff Steve Jobs. Mm-hmm. And he barely says anything. He just lets Steve Jobs realize, you, A2 Brute. His name was Ramsey, so A2 Ramsey. Why is this scene there? Why? Why does the scene exist? It conveys no information. It moves the plot not at all. It doesn't set anything up. It doesn't pay anything off. It doesn't do anything. It should not exist.
Which scene are you talking about? When he drops the folder?
When it's at the end, right before when he reveals that he's the mole and that they're splitting up.
Yeah,
he's having like a crisis of conscience, basically.
Yeah,
no, he was already.
He goes in, and he's trying to. Steve Jobs is trying to get out, and he compared Ramsey as a younger version of him, and they're wanting to restart. He's wanting to get out together and restart the research together.
Right.
And Ramsey, then he goes to give all the information to Ramsey, and Ramsey lets it drop. And then then Steve Jobs realizes that he's one of the most. So yeah, I mean, it moves the plot along because he realizes that, he was being sabotaged from the inside by the one person he trusted the most.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter. The park's already gone. We know that Ramsey's a mole. He already thinks he's being brought down. It doesn't change anything. He dies 3 minutes later anyway. And by the way, let's bring back the Dilophosaurus because, hey, he's got that same stupid shaving cream can. Have another member, Barry. Seals. It's a stupid scene. It shouldn't exist.
All right, hey, we got some audience participation here. Well, first of all, hey, let me do this in order. Our good friend Liz, who likes to hang out with us in wrestling, she wants to say hi to her sister wife, Amber.
Hello, Liz.
There we go. And Liz says, Robert, be nice. The scene was to show that he had no hope, that he couldn't do it without Ramsey. This is what she thinks.
It's still a stupid scene. We've already established that this guy is essentially incompetent. How he achieved this level of success is wildly beyond anyone's understanding. It's just a pointless scene.
Okay. What else, Robert?
The entire bit about... Okay, two things. One, the bit about Clone's mother giving birth to herself. This is not revolutionary, people. We've been able to do this for at least 30 years. We don't do it, but this is how clones are made.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not revolutionary. Shame on the movie for implying as such. I mean, it's ethically revolutionary because, again, you are literally giving birth to yourself. So, but this movie is not intelligent enough to tackle anything approximating the sort of moral or ethical complications and questions that come about from that. So we set that aside so that we can kind of turn Cloney into
hold on
teenage female Jesus.
So
I'm just a teenage female Jesus. Sorry. Listen to Iron Maiden, Jason. Go ahead.
Okay. No, she gave birth because she knew she had this defect, so she was wanting to use the research that she had.
They actually say in dialogue in the movie she didn't know she had this genetic condition until after Maisie was born. Actual line of dialogue said in the movie.
Okay, so what if she was unable to conceive, and being the scientist, she found a way for herself to be able to conceive, and that's how, the clone was
If you
born.
can conceive and carry yourself, you can conceive and carry some implanted embryo.
Well, but does she? It takes two. It takes two aspects of that.
If we're
Despite
we're gonna get a look from the birds and the bees. I'm going right to the money.
Despite what some people in today's society believe,
Oh my
it
god!
takes two things to have a baby. She might not have wanted a husband. She wanted a child. She wanted to have her legacy live on.
Okay.
I can
If we
understand
could
that.
clone
Herself.
Desperately asking that we get back to the craft of this and not discuss how babies are born, genetically or cloning or otherwise.
From kissing.
Yes, it's according to my son, at least. Robert, what? Okay, you're pointing at very specific scenes that didn't need to be in the movie. I think we can all agree, and maybe Amber feels differently. And I'll check in with Amber in a second. But yes, the movie is dumbed down. Yes, there are scenes because there are scenes stitching one idea to the next in this to keep the audience engrossed because there's not a lot of faith the audience is going to be able to follow this. And I will tell you that again, this is one of those general audience deals. There's a lot of parents bringing kids. Kids are not sometimes able to follow certain things, and so they feel like I guaranteeing you through one of the passes through editing of the screenplay, they were like, "This is too smart for kids. Dumb this shit down. Add more scenes." Like,
Also,
I think
take
that's
away
what
the gore and the citywide destruction that you would have liked.
right. I think at 2.5 hours, there's a part of me that feels like, yeah, I mean, it's the end of, it's the Avengers Endgame of Jurassic Park. It probably earns its runtime. The problem is, like, I'm not upset with the 2.5 hour runtime. I'm upset with how it was used. Like, this feels, to your point, Robert, I'm agreeing with you, but I also see the necessity of it, I guess, where there was definitely a lot of stuff added into this, not necessarily to pad the runtime, but to bring your audience along that they don't feel like it's smart enough to stay with you, and it drags the movie down. Like, if you were just like, let's trim the fat off of this thing and just make it a slick 2-hour movie, there's an easy 30 minutes you could have cut out of this, no problem. Like, this isn't an Age of Extinction thing where you need every single scene, Robert. Every single scene.
Just seriously don't.
I know you're in a mood tonight. I'm trying to be funny. But we had that argument over what do you cut, what do you save. This one, like, I could take a scissor to this thing and cut out 30 minutes without even looking.
Yeah.
So, anything else about this movie that is like a major problem for you? Because now I want to go back to Amber for a moment.
I appreciate the bits where they implemented models and puppetry and whatnot, because it does lend a little bit of help to things in this movie feeling real, because there's a real problem with this film. Giant chunks of it have no weight. They have nothing they have no visual weight. Like, it's painfully obvious how much of this is, Chris Pratt staring at a tennis ball on a stick in front of a green screen.
Yeah. Look, Chris Pratt's a fine enough actor, not good enough to pull off like the amount of CGI he has to interact with.
And I don't know anyone that would be. Like, that's how much of it there is. The editing in this thing made my eyes bleed.
I was gonna say, it does have like a Phantom Menace quality, doesn't it? Which, it's funny because we've come so far from Phantom Menace, but at the time there was so much green screen, so much CGI that, like, poor Ewan McGregor was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I am in the movie. Famously. It has that fun feel fact. At a time.
Fun fact for all of you out there. The Force Awakens has like orders of magnitude more special effects shots in it than the Phantom Menace does.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's where we are. I think the editing for this is really one of the things that killed me. There's so much Michael Bay style rapid fire. Not to mention the stuff that's very clearly done for the 3D jump.
Yeah.
But so much of this is hard to follow. We cut back and forth between the dinosaur snapping and the person being scared and the person trying to do something and the dinosaur snapping, and it makes your head hurt. It makes your eyes bleed at times. It's not as incompetent as Bay's rapid fire editing because a lot of the action does at least stay somewhat centered in frame, but it's still a problem, and
Yeah.
one that they could have solved. Like that's a problem. That's an unforced error.
Let's
Don't do
take a
that.
pause there. Amber, you look disgustipated. You've heard my major gripes with this. You've heard Robert, even some of Jason's stuff. What are some of your thoughts here as you hear us sort of tearing apart this movie? What are you thinking?
I think that Mara, he kind of misses the point there about why the Macy thing was such a big deal. Because when at the beginning of the movie, Macy thinks she's nothing but a clone. She grew in a test tube and that was it. And she doesn't, she's having a lot of issues because she doesn't feel like she grew out of love or anything else. The whole point of that was so that she could understand that she was made out of love. Her mother constructed her, took out the bad parts of her DNA, and she wanted a child. So she was loved and she was created to be a child that someone really wanted really bad that she loved. And that was you needed that to add into the whole thing, and I think, Robert's kind of missing that whole thing. And I feel like if you cut that whole part out, then you've just got this girl running around, this 14-year-old girl running around with all these adults, and she's a clone, and we don't know anything else about her, and that's it. People want her because she's a clone.
Let me throw this out there. I think a better use of Macy is the tacit recognition that the dinosaurs have to go, and that there's something in Macy's genetics that would help in that endeavor. And so there's like an internal debate happening between our heroes and the villains over using Macy's DNA to eliminate all the dinosaurs before the doomsday clock strikes midnight. I feel like that's where they started with this script, and they were like, and they couldn't figure out how to get there. They couldn't figure out how to beef that up enough for a 2.5 hour thing. And so so they're like, well, let's keep the Macy stuff, but we'll change it and we'll make her kind of the star of this thing, which is my other problem with this is, for effort for trying to make Macy the star of this and the focal point, but I don't think it lands. I don't know if the audience even cares enough about her. I mean, who does the audience like? The audience likes Chris Pratt. The audience likes Laura Dern. The audience likes what's his face who plays Dr. Grant. That's who the audience wanted to see. I don't think the audience even cares about Bryce Dallas Howard. Like they want to see Chris Pratt punch a dinosaur. They want to see, the cast of Jurassic Park doing stuff, whatever that stuff might be. But the movie is like, no. And hey, Robert, this should sound familiar. Forget about all the people you like this new character that we invented out of whole cloth. And it's like swing and a miss every single time. I think the only holding up the movie is the stuff with the oh god.
Who are you trying to remember?
And Mark's froze.
Mark's froze.
Goddamn bug. Is the bugs.
The locusts.
The grasshoppers.
Am I unfrozen yet?
Yeah, you're unfrozen.
Yeah, you're good.
The the goddamn bugs eating the crops. I forget what they're called.
They're locusts.
They're just locusts.
Thank you.
Yeah, they're just
Grasshoppers.
Cretaceous period locusts.
Yeah.
Grasshoppers.
What I was trying to say before, technical difficulties was the only thing holding up this movie in any real way is the locust plot. And even at that, it's like, did we come for the locusts or did we come for the dinosaurs? Shouldn't the problem have been the dinosaurs, not the invented locusts? It was like this. I feel like in the writing, they were really trying to outthink themselves, and they got away from why people come to see these in the first place. And this is why I think people are having such difficulties with this. Amber, you want to respond to any of that?
I don't really. I think you're saying Macy's the main character. I don't really feel that. I feel like every one of them. I think if you take any of them out, other than maybe a couple of the lower ones, you're gonna miss a whole entire.
Mm-hmm.
You need all of them. They're all a part of the franchise. Chris Pratt's not even any more important than Alan Grant or any of them were. I feel like you need them all. It was I feel like the whole point of the movie was it brought everybody together to kind of wrap things up. And I never really felt like Macy was the main character. I felt she was put in there because she, out of all of the characters, she was the one that was most like the dinosaurs, or she was created most likely like the dinosaurs were.
Okay,
Let me. I want to go to Jason kind of for your responses and final thoughts here, and then one last round with Robert, and then we'll move on.
Okay, I'm grabbing my soapbox. I'm climbing up on it. Let's start with Macy.
Here we go.
Let's start with Macy. Macy, if you remember back to the end of the second movie, you did have that inner conflict, because if she killed the dinosaurs, it would have killed her too. So you did have that inner conflict, and that she is part of the restoration of the dinosaurs, and that's why you had that inner turmoil at the end of part 2. And then I think they missed the mark.
She wasn't gonna die.
Yeah, I thought it would have sacrificed her as well.
No, she just like, I'm a clone. They're clones. We're here. We're alive. They shouldn't die.
Okay,
Clone solidarity. Clone lives matter.
Okay, clone lives matter. Okay, but anyway, moving on from that. There's your TikTok bark.
Yup.
So moving on from that, I think that they should have transitioned and built upon that, which they didn't fully. Now let's go back to my biggest complaint of this movie, and then I'll wrap up with the funniest thing of this movie. So my biggest complaint of this movie was the pandering to the females, that they had to save everyone.
Really?
Everyone that got saved was either by the black chick on the plane, or in some way one of the other female cast members.
I thought Chris Pratt got plenty of saving too.
You would be wrong, and it's okay to be wrong, Mark.
Okay.
But no, I mean, because it's like they pander, and it was like you have these strong leads. Yeah, I'm all for having a strong female lead. I'm not against that, but it was like you had the pilot that just had to save him, and basically bailed him out in I think it was Egypt or something. Kayla. Okay, Liz, thank you for giving us a name.
Malta.
Okay. Listen here, you New Yorker. I don't care. I'd like to hear you read a phone book, but it's okay.
All right, moving along, Jason.
It's one of. I think that they went through that too much, and I think they try to skew that to make the female leads being more heroic. And last but not least, since Amber didn't mention it, I will bring it up. The scene in the movie that about made me piss myself, because
I was cracking up.
I was not prepared to have a dinosaur jump out of a shadow at the top of the ladder. I'm pretty sure that I may have soiled myself. I'm not going to go on record and say it was a definite, but it was a good possibility. And my wife thought it was hilarious. And I will close on that.
All right, Robert, your final thoughts on this shit show of a podcast.
The podcast is what it is.
God, not since the Blog Talk Radio days have we had this many technical issues.
You hear me?
Yeah,
we can hear you.
We're just, there's a lot of lag, but all I was saying was not since our Blog Talk Radio days have we had this many sound issues.
For real.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, I get what Amber's saying about the clone needing to know that she was that she came from a place of love. I'm fine with that. There's execution issues, but as a general emotional point, I don't object to it. The bit at the end where, yay, we'll just, we will magically be able to fix everything. Like, no, not how this works. and understand how wheat grows in cycles. How replanting that kind of a loss of crop actually does throw a lot of things off. Meanwhile, you get in, of course, your half-assed jabs about sustainable farming and all the other, just broadcasting the message, I suppose.
The message.
Brought to you by Keenan Ivory Wayans.
I don't have a whole lot positive to say about this as a general rule, so
all right, let's just move on.
I've kind of last thing. Hang on, no. Here's the last thing. Okay,
if you insist.
The music. I'm not setting you up for a segue. I did not enjoy the score to this. It's desperately trying to distract you from how uninteresting almost everything that's on screen is. Like, please, if we play enough, if we play frantic enough music, you'll think there's tension in this chase. No, we won't. Your editing skills are so bad that even the music can't save it. And by the way, you can just get this franchise had one use of your nostalgia credit that you cashed in the first one. Everything after this is a giant middle finger. Like that's all your musical kind of pseudo callbacks are. You're reminding us of better movies. That's all you're doing. You should know better. You really should.
All right. And speaking of you should know better, here comes the money.
We're in the money. We're in the money.
I had a friend ask me earlier today, she goes, I'm out on all these Jurassic Park movies. I don't even know why they keep making them. They keep making them because like 4 out of the last 6 made over $1 billion. That's why, on Marvel budgets. Speaking of Marvel budgets, the budget for this chit show was $185 million, and at the time of this recording, such as it is, has earned $405 million. It was the number one movie of the weekend. No, I take that back. Yes, it was the number one movie of the weekend, beating out Top Gun, which we'll get to in a moment. Is I think the number one movie in the United States, if not the world, at this point. Doctor Strange fell from 2 to 3. The Bad Guys maintained its spot at number 4. Bob's Burgers fell from 3 to 5. Downton Abbey 5 to 6. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Now, currently, finally, Chris Bailey is finally PVOD. Firestarter apparently went in a bunch of theaters again. That jumped from 21 to 8 for some odd reason. Sonic fell from 8 to 9. We have Indian movie that debuted number 10.
Don't know where it was.
Yeah. The Lost City 9 to 11. Crimes of the Future 10 to 12. Uncharted jumped up. Apparently that's back in theater somewhere. 17 to 13. Watcher 11 to 14. Roundup 22 to 15. Fantastic Beasts 13 to 16. The Northman 19 to 17. Men 12 to 18. Deep in the Heart of Texas, a wildlife story 16 to 19. And hey, Robert, maybe this will put you in a better mood. Morbius, good old Morbius, fell from 14 to 20 because the people at Sony are functionally retarded.
Hey, don't use the R word.
Sony, I promise you, look, Sony people, we were all busy last week. If you re-release it again, I'm sure we'll all be able to make time now that it's not a holiday.
Stop bullying Sony. They don't know any better.
That was an actual tweet.
That's amazing. All right. I was close. The number one movie in the world is currently Doctor Strange. Hey, Robert, it looks like it's going to make $1 billion. How about that? I mean, it's got to make another 70 million,
good
right?
For it, I guess. When's it come out on Disney Plus?
The 22nd. It's got another week.
It'll probably get there. Yeah, it'll limp over that particular line. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to skyrocket over the $1 billion mark, but you and I went back and forth over that a whole bunch of times. I didn't even realize it until today that it was as high as it was. So, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Missed Opportunities at $931 million. The Batman staying at 770. Top Gun Maverick, that's also going to hit $1 billion. That's still got like the 120-day window. That's got everything going for it. My God, Top Gun Maverick making Paramount look like a real studio. How about that shit, Robert?
Power of Tom Cruise and nostalgia.
Indeed. Communist commie propaganda film at number 4. Jurassic World hitting the worldwide charts at number 5. I don't know. What do you think, Robert? I mean, this week is Lightyear, which is not opening in the Middle East because of Lesbian Kiss. And then I think after that is
Not opening in China either.
Yeah, it's not
so
opening in China.
Yeah, so that movie's about to hit the skids. I can't remember what comes out. Oh, The Black Phone and Elvis come out the week after that, and then there's a bye week, and then we're into Thor. So what are you thinking about Jurassic World as far as the $1 billion mark?
It might get there. I mean, it benefits from. Does it benefit from? It benefits from the general nostalgia bump. I think. I don't think
until Thor comes out, there's not
might...
another big move. I was gonna say until Thor comes out, which is a couple of weeks, it doesn't really have any stiff competition other than what's already out there.
Yeah, the lack of competition helps.
Yeah,
I don't think it quite gets there, but it's gonna do well.
Yeah, my conservative estimate is that it peters out around the Batman money. I don't want to. I'm not.
Probably
I don't.
Right.
I don't feel too strong on the $1 billion mark, which is a bit of a miss for Universal, but it's already made back its money. It'll be fine. Fantastic Beasts, speaking of petering out, and Uncharted both at 401. Sonic the Hedgehog 397, The Bad Guys 229, and Too Cool to Kill at 217. I already talked about the calendar, but just a quick go over it again. Yeah, we have Lightyear that comes out this weekend, which it's not going to do well. We had a long conversation. I don't want to rehash it right now. We may end up dedicating an entire podcast to it if Chris Bailey has his way about the Pixar and freefall, as he liked to describe it. But I mean, Lightyear is not getting a tremendous amount of critical buzz. It's not opening in half the world because of the LGBTQ part of it. I think people are kind of out on Pixar at this point. 4 years of pandemic movies that went straight to Disney Plus have probably soured people on Pixar. It's just like, 45 days and it'll be on Disney Plus anyway, and half of these movies aren't that good. I think people are going to end up waiting on it. So I think they thought they had a surefire hit with Lightyear. I'm not so certain about that anymore. This is going in. I mean, Toy Story 4 even made $1 billion, and that movie was shite. So I'm not entirely sure where Lightyear is gonna land. I'm conservatively predicting about 400 to 500 million. And then the week after that is The Black Phone and Elvis. Robert, what do you think? I think one of those might still be the number one movie in the world at the time, but I don't think either one of them is going to be doing crazy summer. I'm really surprised actually Elvis is a summer movie. Like that should have waited until September. Go ahead.
I doubt either one of those really kind of makes a serious dent.
I will go out on a limb.
I don't think there's enough interest in the Elvis biopic.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Black Phone is the one that has a chance.
Yeah. I forgot. July 1st is Minions. Sure. By the way, Robert, I was thinking about you, baby. I was thinking about you, man.
You were saying.
Yeah. I was thinking about you. Liz, Black Adam doesn't come out until October. So I'm in the theater watching Jurassic World, and we get a trailer from Minions, but it's a new trailer. And you want to know what song they played, Robert? Do you want to know what song? You want to hear the song that they played?
I heard. I don't want to hear it, but I heard the same trailer you did.
I laughed my friend was like, "Why are you laughing so hard?" And I'm just like, "Because I know somebody who just threw his pants at the screen." And is about sick and tired of that song. For those that don't know, Robert hates the song "Sabotage" by the Beastie Boys, and the fact that it's used as much as it is in just about everything drives to consider drinking. All right, July 8th is Thor. July 15th is not a lot. The wide releases are Where the Crawdads Sing, which we're going to review, and Paws of Fury, which I don't know if people know this or not. They've seen the trailer and they're like, "Oh, this looks like a fun animated film." It's actually based on Blazing Saddles by Mel Brooks, which I think is a really funny concept. I don't know how good the movie's going to be, but the concept itself is pretty amusing. So, all right, anything else about the money, Robert, before we move on?
Nah, it's all shaken out about like we expected.
Yep. All right, then let us move on to this is a lot quicker than I thought it was going to be tonight. I figured we'd do the full 2 hours, but we're all like, Jurassic Park, it stinks, and we want to move on here. So, all right, here we go with the critical review.
Are you ready? No! I said, are you ready?
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
The critical review is... Oh, wait, no more plugs. The critical review, 29% rotten on the tomato meter with a 79% audience score. So the critics were like, this sucks. Why do we do this to ourselves? And the audience was like, nah, I like dinosaurs. The critical consensus, Jurassic World Dominion might be a bit of an improvement over its immediate predecessor. That's saying something in some respects, but this franchise has lumbered a long way down from its classic start. This is definitely like stinking of critical exhaustion, I think, more than anything else. Like people just like, I don't want another stupid dinosaur movie, and not really thinking about like what the movie is. But Matt Donato of
it doesn't help that the movie is a really stupid dinosaur movie.
no doubt. Matt Donato of Perry Nemiroff. Wow, Perry now getting other people to do reviews for her. Go Perry. Dominion loses the soul of Jurassic Park. Action sequences are downright ugly as Dino VFX can't keep up with the wannabe Mission Impossible cinematography, and it's overall just the worst kind of manufactured blockbuster cash-in.
Not wrong.
Okay, moving on. TT Stern Enzi of WXIX TV, Cincinnati, Ohio, top critic. A long, tiring, winding road. This is not helpful.
That's not helpful.
And we wonder how they get on here and we can't.
Yeah, I've
I can
cried
tell
about
you.
that enough. Bob Grimm of Reno News and Review. Not enough dinosaurs and too much BD Wong, all sad in a frumpy sweater. That made me laugh.
Yeah, BD Wong in a frumpy sweater was not it. Was not it.
Dennis Harvey of 48 Hills. Those dastardly dinos are back.
Man, y'all
helpful.
can't be positive a little bit.
Not a helpful review. Like, oh boy, it's a dinosaur movie. You think?
Valerie Calfrin of AWFJ Women on Film. Dinosaurs walk the earth, but Jurassic World Dominion gives bugs dominion over the plot. It's like watching a Godzilla movie where people fend off huge termites while avoiding Godzilla's feet in atomic breath. Massively disappointing. I kind of agree with that.
I was gonna say, like, that's not entirely wrong. Like, they did not have a great plot for this movie. They had things they wanted to do, and they did them, but they didn't. It was not a good narrative.
No. It was like a bullet point. We must hit these points.
Yeah, it definitely felt very checklist.
Y'all suck, by the way. All of y'all suck.
What?
Just so you know.
No, you know who sucks? Mark Commode of Observer UK top critic. Dude, his review is ho hum. Get him, Winfree.
No, he does not deserve my ire.
Oh, how about Dan Murrell? We hate you, Dan Murrell. We hate you.
You hate the equivalent.
Dan you hate him too. It's the equivalent of Colin Trevorrow banging pots and pans for 2.5 hours to keep you distracted from the fact that nothing you're seeing really means anything.
Not wrong, Mr. Commode. Not wrong.
No, that was Dan Murrell.
Oh, Murrell.
All right.
Not wrong, Mr. Murrell.
Where's my guy? I gotta bully my people. Where are you? Come out, fat guy. Where is he?
Movies.
Where are you, Kevin Carr? I'll find you. Get over here. Where'd you go?
He's probably
Where is he, Robert? Here we go. Here's another person we hate. Doug Walker of Channel Awesome. Why do Jurassic Park sequels think we're here for the idiot humans and not the dinosaurs?
Somewhat of a fair question, believe it or not.
Okay, hold on. Go back up to Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah. All right, you want me to read it?
Yeah.
Christopher Lloyd.
I want Robert's head to explode.
All right. Christopher Lloyd of The Film Yap. The first half is a mess, but the last 70 minutes is wall-to-wall action, chases, gratuitous dinosaur chomping, and well-staged thrills. Doesn't have the wit or dazzle of the first Jurassic Park, but which of the other sequels do?
That's a fair thing to point out that all the sequels fall short of the original. That's accurate. But no, if your opinion of the editing and staging for a lot of this was that, hey, this is great, I beg of you, watch more action movies. I beg of you. Hey, there's a Dilophosaurus that's about to spit poison on Bryce Dallas Howard, but somehow sneaking up on it is Chris Pratt, who grabs it by the throat, shocks it in the eye, and tells it to get out of here while the others simply scatter away. After Bryce Dallas Howard, while being menaced, sank to her butt to be level-eyed with it purely for the sake of the shot, not having anything to do with how a human being would actually react in that situation. No.
We have
Shame on you for praising this.
Sorry.
Yeah.
we had a run in.
All right, we're gonna do one more of these, and I think we're gonna call it tonight. But this one might be my favorite. Johnny Gay's Monica fanboys of the universe. What killed the dinosaurs? If Jurassic World Dominion is any indication, they were all bored to death. Wah wah.
Well, you know, of all the criticisms I leveled at this thing, I don't think I said boring. Uninteresting and boring are not the same thing. I don't think this is necessarily a boring movie. It's not as tense as it thinks it is. Not by any stretch of the imagination. Like, what was with that dinosaur that, like, slowly followed behind crawling Bryce Dallas Howard? I assume that creature is blind? Because that's the only way any of that makes sense.
It had the Rock's arthritis from SummerSlam 1998.
I mean, did you not watch the first one? Most dinosaurs cannot see. They see, like, movement and infrared, like, heat. So, I mean, it's not like they can see like me and you can see. They're like reptiles. They see like heat and movement.
Miss Wizard.
That's why she was kind of moving very slowly so that she could kind of hide from it.
All right.
She was covering herself in mud. She was covering herself in mud so she wouldn't go detected by the infrared scans.
Then she can try and kill the predator with the hatchet that she has tied to a rope of returning. Yes, we know.
We got a request here from Liz. I'm going to read one positive review, one fresh review. Liz, I can't help it when they're mostly rotten. That's what we do here. But I will read for the sake of our fans worldwide. Something positive said on Rotten Tomatoes. Louisa Moore of Screen Zealots. Operating at a full tilt pace, the sequel is packed with exciting action scenes, has a solid story, compelling bad guys, if by that you mean the dinosaurs, maybe, and features dinosaurs aplenty. They are definitely on screen and in focus. In other words, it's everything you'd want out of a summer popcorn flick. Sure. There you go, Liz. I do it for you, Liz. I'm here to please.
This idiot trying to pretend that this villain was compelling. What, his mild hissy fit before he orders everything destroyed? His faux awkwardness around Grant and Sadler? No. This is the opposite of a compelling villain. You could almost remove him from the entire story and craft something a little bit better.
Yeah, I don't think that. I really think that if you remove him from the story, you get the same result.
All right, I'm going to put this on screen because Liz needs to watch more Damn You Hollywood. Liz, baby, I love you, sweetie. Miss Queen of Staten Island, my love. We do read both the positive and the negative. It depends on whether or not the thing is collectively rotten or collectively fresh. We just kind of play jazz. We feel it in the moment. I read the ones that I think are funny that I think are going to cause Robert to have an aneurysm. So
mostly that.
I don't feel
Yeah,
like it takes a lot for Robert to have an aneurysm.
it takes
No,
almost
it doesn't.
nothing.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Like, I feel like one little thing would push him over the edge.
Oh,
Here you
yeah.
go.
Today,
Here you go.
I am channeling Michael Douglas from Falling Down. I'm this close.
All right. Well, before Robert puts on his fatigues and grabs an M16, I just want you to know that Liz, the Queen of Staten Island, says she loves your crankiness, buddy. So take that for what you will. Which I'm sure
I
will be
appreciate
nothing.
it. Thank you very much.
All right. So that is the painful end of this podcast in record time, actually. Speaking of the end of things, myself and Pat Mullen concluded our Four Kings of Boxing series with Leonard versus Duran 3, Uno Mas. So that is now up in the archives. Tomorrow, Jesse's dropping a source material number 311, the first issue of Count Duckula, which if you've never watched that show back when Danger Mouse used to be on, we were kids. That is a great show and a great comic book. In the evening time, them boys will be reviewing Creator, Hate Uber Alice. David Wright not able to make the Pacific Rim the Black review, so that's now fallen off the schedule. We'll have a re-airing of Toy Story 4, that shit show. We'll have a re-airing from the archive of Black Mirror Season 1. That was myself and Jesse. And then this weekend, I will be away, but we're going to have some re-airs. Our Long Road to Ruin for Jaws, Part 1 and Part 2, will be up on the 19th and the 20th. And then Robert and I are going to be hitting you with all kinds of movie reviews. First, on Monday, we're going to be reviewing Everything Everywhere All at Once. Finally. Chris Bailey. Spiderhead, which is now on Netflix, and the remake of Father of the Bride on HBO Max, which comes out this Thursday. And then myself, David Wright, Alexis Hana, and Robert will be doing a Double Damn You Hollywood for Lightyear and Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. We're going to mess around with the format a little bit, but we're going to get both movies reviewed for you. And then, so that's it. Oh, Jason will be back with us a week from Thursday to discuss the Lakers miniseries Winning Time, which I watched the first episode of that today. That is a fantastic show. John C. Reilly is just amazing. So that's what I got. Amber, I hear you're on the Chair Shot Network.
Yes.
Talking Hallmark movies. Tell them all about it.
Well, we took a little break for a little while, but we're fixing to get back into it this week. Here I am fixing stuff with my country accent. But we talk about Hallmark movies and all the things Hallmark, and then I'm going to add some extra stuff and the series as well to the Hallmark Network. And my brain is, I'm tired, sorry. We're going to start back here soon. So, and I do that with my Liz, who's been on the chat here today. We do that. We'll be starting that back shortly.
All right, Jason, tell us about your football podcast, buddy.
No.
Come on. Okay.
Yeah, you can follow. You can follow.
What a say.
What a say. You can follow me as we have transitioned over to Mosaic Media, where you can find me and my cohort, Tyler Louder, talking fantasy football, dynasty football, anything football. We just dropped 2 episodes the past 2 weeks. It's really fun. This off season's been really exciting. I actually was invited into the one of the biggest fantasy football collective groups called the Scott Fish Bowl, and I will be representing Mosaic Media on that. As Mark said, you can catch me back here on the W2M network with Mark reviewing the Lakers miniseries on HBO Max, and then in 2 weeks, me and Amber will be joining back on the show as we review the Elvis movie and Black Phone. I don't think Amber's going to be part of Black Phone, but she's definitely going to be here because she knows everything you want to know about Elvis.
All right, that'll be fun. Robert, are you going to be able to see the Black Phone and Elvis in the same weekend?
I will make a good faith attempt to do so.
All right. Robert, what are you covering this weekend?
AEW's Dark Elevation is already up. MLW, whatever they're doing on Thursday. WWE SmackDown on Friday. And UFC on ESPN 37 this Saturday. That is headlined by Calvin Cater and Josh Emmett. And I kind of got roped into covering Impact Wrestling Slammiversary on Sunday. All of this pursuant to my computer not exploding between now and then.
All right. Is there a Kickstarter that we can, like a GoFundMe maybe, that we can all contribute to help you with your computer woes? I need you at a certain level of surly, and you're over it today, and I want to help you. So, like, you know, where do we send the money to get you a new computer?
I'm not going to give my address out on the internet. That seems like a very bad idea.
How about nudes? Will you send nudes out on the internet? Because I know people who do that.
No.
All right.
Look, if you want to set something up, I can't stop you. It's rapidly approaching the point when I need to kind of just replace the whole thing. So I'm going to keep babying it along, and hopefully that the next restart will finish whatever technical thing is up with it. I don't know.
All right.
I need this stupid thing to work, because if it doesn't, there's a lot of stuff I can't do, like, you know, my jobs.
Yeah. Okay. Well, before Robert has like a crisis of some sort on air, we're gonna go. Thank you very much for being here on Damn You Hollywood.
Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you.
Next week, Lightyear and Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. Hopefully you have a working computer by then. Until then, for the Teasleys, I'm Mark Radulich. Be well, be safe, and behave.